I mean, look, when you coach in New York, you manage in New York, everything you do is going to get scrutinized, win, lose, or draw. And that's the case for Tom Thibodeau. It's just a part of the deal, especially when you're the head coach of a competitive Knicks team. But, Chris, for you, you look at the big picture here. Tom Thibodeau, no extension. And I don't think anything was really on the table before the season. His contract is up after next season. Your thoughts on Thibodeau, the job he's done here, and the idea of him getting another contract or the Knicks moving on to another coach? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think he's done an excellent job. Look, there are very few X's and O's coaches that are better than Tom Thibodeau. And the times that he has had a full, healthy, productive roster, he has, I think, maximized the talent on those teams. Now, the playoffs, I think, will be important for Tom Thibodeau. They're once again going to be in a position that if they're healthy, they should at the very least win a first round series. And if they're healthy, whether they wind up playing Boston or Milwaukee in the second round, they should be competitive in that series. And if they're not, and they show something that the front office or ownership doesn't like, that could be a warning sign for them. But everything Tom Thibodeau has done this year with that healthy team, I think, has been a positive. It goes back to what we saw in January when they added Anunoby and they made the deals that they made. They took off. And the only reason they've struggled at this point is because they've been battling injuries. And every team that's had the injuries that the Knicks have had would struggle in this way. So I think Tibbs, I wouldn't put him in that coach of the year category, but I think he's been certainly a top 10 coach in the NBA this season.
Yeah, he's dealt with a ton of injuries, obviously. But, Chris, I think you made an important point about the postseason because I think Jim Dolan, Knicks governor, has by and large let Leon Rose and the front office have total autonomy, including on decisions as far as keeping or letting Tom Thibodeau go. I think that was on the table early last year before they made their run when Thibodeau changed his rotation around. But I think postseason, in general, Jim Dolan, his history, he wants to see teams progressing in the right direction. And the Knicks, I think, set a high bar for themselves, making the second round last year, being competitive against Miami. So, Chris, I agree with you in terms of postseason results factoring in here, fairly or not. Tom Thibodeau, I think, has been a very good coach for this team, fantastic coach. I mean, you look at the last 20 years, he's probably been their best. You want to argue Mike Woodson, but it's a short argument. He's right up there. But it's going to be interesting to see these postseason results and how they play into what may or may not happen. And, there's Thibodeau's history, fair or not, with not being on the same page with the front office. From what I've heard, that the Knicks are pleased there to date in terms of Thibodeau, being a partner with this front office. But, Shaun, I need a first name, last name. Who is going to be the Knicks head coach next season?
Tom Thibodeau, for sure. Like Chris said, he's doing a great job, and like me pointing out the thing with Precious, it's not saying that Tom Thibodeau's doing a bit. Like, I think Tom Thibodeau's been excellent. I think that what we've assembled, and I think the reference to January is excellent too, because even the Clippers, when they acquired James Harden, they're playing great basketball now, but they lost like 6 or 7 straight. The Knicks were able to trade a large part of the rotation, incorporate someone else new in, and keep it moving and keep it rolling. That's not a thing that a lot of teams are able to do, and that's definitely attributed to coaching. I think he's done a fantastic job. I think he's going to have to do a very good job in the playoffs, especially you get to the playoffs, you run into, against Miami, right? You're going to run into an Eric Spoelstra. And so it's like, I need you to be good, but I need you to be great. And I need you to also get out of your own way. So when I see him do the things like last night where he wasted precious time, I think that we just got to make sure we take care of those things, because that can be something that loses one game in the playoffs. And I just don't want to cause this one game in the playoffs. But ultimately, he's done an excellent job. Not only do I expect him to be here next year, I'm looking forward to it.